Hey friends, Mario Cavallo here. Wow. I suddenly felt compelled when I realized we are at a critical moment adjusting things. We're at a critical moment in China's zero COVID policy. And we are now, we really need to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. It is, I can't think of anything. Honest to God, I tweeted this out a little bit earlier, and I thought to myself, this is the most important thing that I'm tweeting out all year long. And I've tweeted out a lot of pretty important stuff, at least in my own imagination. Right? Um, hey, friends, I hope you're all doing great. Um, Let me tell you straight up. All right. The world now knows critical information. The world now has 100% clarity on what China is doing, what China is going to do with respect to the pandemic, COVID-19, its zero COVID policy, which is evolving, changing. And that's the focus right here is it has just changed to a critical place, which we now know crystal clear. And I can't say enough about it because of the fact of the impact on the entire world. Okay. China is now the largest safe, stable, successful, capable civil country on planet Earth. The rest of the world depends on China to such an incredible degree. When we had the financial crisis in 2008 and 9, I will not let you forget that China saved the world with its purchase of 1.3 or more, something like $1.3 trillion worth of United States bonds. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll help you out. You just melted down the world's financial system with your greed, Wall Street. Yeah, you did that. Thanks a lot. And China saved the world. Okay, well, China saved the world during the pandemic too. Whether you want to hear that or not, or want to believe, I know that that's what they have done. And because over the last 2 years, while the rest of the world was a wreck, China wasn't a wreck. We were the ones living normal lives for the last 2 years because we had no virus in China for like a year and a half. We would get a few cases here and there, and immediately China's zero COVID policy, in not tolerating it, they would knock it out within a couple of weeks. Okay. Shanghai was the first time on the mainland. No, sorry, second time. Wuhan was the first time. Shanghai was the second time there was a major outbreak that spun out of control. There was a bad one in Jilin as well. But let me get to the point here. We now know what I'm about to tell you is critical for the world. Every government official in the world should be understanding how important this is because of the fact of how much of an impact it's going to have on China's economy, China's supply chain and logistics and manufacturing sector, and therefore the entire global economy, every country that is intertwined with China. Okay, and here's what it is. We now know that the worst case scenario for a lockdown situation in China is about 8 weeks. We now know that. We now know moving forward. We have solid, clear in have when the pandemic first hit in Wuhan. We didn't have when the pandemic first hit in Italy and everyone locked down, and then the UK, and then what was there was the Arab country where the pandemic then hit hard. I don't remember which one it was. Was it Pakistan? And then, of course, finally, it hit everywhere else. The United States and South America and the rest of Asia, it hit everywhere. But we've been learning all along. Okay, learning and evolving, everyone with their policies, learning and evolving. What's the combination of masking up, distancing, and vaccines that's going to work? What's the degree to which we need to lock down and isolate? The less, the better. But we can't let millions of people end up in the hospitals, die. And every country has been dealing with this, dealing with what they're going to do in terms of their own policy. And China, as of now, has been the most unique one, insisting on zero COVID. Okay. So, please watch my previous video with Fernando, the 5 reasons why China is sticking with its zero COVID policy. Now we have an evolved zero COVID policy and we have clarity. The clarity came at a price now, and that price was Shanghai. Okay. Hong Kong as well, but Shanghai. Shanghai, as of today, is coming out of the lockdown, and it's been 8 weeks. It was hellish. It spun out of control. Is coming. That's for sure. But Xi Jinping made it crystal clear. Oh, no. There are no questions whatsoever that zero COVID is the way we're going. Okay. Xi Jinping couldn't have made that any clearer 3 weeks ago, right? And so Shanghai stuck with it. Well, now we know. It's been 8 weeks. The worst that could have happened in China was that a big city, doesn't really matter. Of course, it hits the news because Shanghai is this, the business hub of China. It's like New York, okay, or London or Paris. Okay, fine. But folks, a city of 10, 12, 15, 20 million people is still a city of 10, 12, 15, 20 million people. Here in Shenyang, we're about 9 million. We had a 3-week lockdown. It wasn't in your news, right? In people. I mean, that's like about the size of the Phoenix metropolitan area. You see my point? Okay. So it could have been any big city. All right. It happened to be Shanghai. Yeah. Okay. I get it. That's the financial business center of the country, but it could have been, and right now, Beijing's getting things under control. They got a bit of a lockdown going on up there. And it's far more organized in getting results. So whatever happened, what I'm telling you is the worst thing that could have possibly happened is over in 8 weeks. That's what I'm now telling you. That's the clarity that we have. I can't say to you how important this is. We didn't know how long lockdown in Wuhan needed to be. I believe it was 78 days. Okay. So every time there's a problem, every time there's an outbreak, every country deals with it. And then all the statistics, all the information, all the details come in and everyone's analyzing, okay, what did we learn from this? What did we learn from this? Okay. This is what we learn now about China's zero COVID policy. Number one, it's not going anywhere. This is so critical. Plan accordingly. Do you understand me? Okay. China's zero COVID policy isn't going anywhere. Okay. Plan your company's future and investments and business and time and logistics, strategy, everything, market, ability to conduct business, plan accordingly, because you now know China's not letting go of its zero COVID policy. I can tell you this without a doubt. Okay. Second thing we know is really great, amazing news. And then there's the third piece of information, which I haven't told you yet. Okay. Which is we now know the worst case scenario will be 8 weeks. Now that's if Shanghai ever happens again somewhere, and it won't. That's now my representation. It won't. Okay. Because they learn from what they're doing wrong every step of the way. And all of you who love to criticize China, first of all, screw you. That's number one, because you don't know what you're talking about. China is the largest, safe, stable, successful, capable civil country on the planet. And I'm sorry that bothers you with all your rah-rah, sis-boom-ba, democracy and freedom crap. Okay. Sorry. Okay. But China's doing a better job. Okay. Period. And it has been for 20 years. Again, I'm sorry that bothers you. Okay. You have to understand that China doesn't care about how anybody else is handling things. China's doing things China's way. China said zero COVID. We're going to keep everybody safe. Whether you're a billionaire or a poor person, equally, everyone gets locked down. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Look, I know a lot of I have met as personal friends up here in Shenyang through one of my dear friends who's been here for many, many years. I don't want to say too much. I have met dozens of the nicest people over the last or about, yeah, 4 years since we moved here, my wife's hometown. I love living up here. I've met dozens of incredibly rich multimillionaires and even billionaires, okay, including those who are retired government officials, um, private businessmen with factories, and government officials, high level government officials. Everybody is in lockdown, no exceptions. Do you understand me? Whether you're rich or poor, lockdown means lockdown. Now, if you happen to be rich and you live in a 400 square meter villa instead of a 80 square meter apartment, good for you, but you're still in lockdown. Okay. So everybody treated the same. Gee, don't you wish in the West everybody was treated the same rather than how they treat the wealthy and not for the people? Okay. That's the problem. Okay. But that's politics. Now, I want to make these points clear. We know, this is the first point. We know now that the worst case scenario that will happen ever again as an 8-week lockdown. We know repeatedly in the waves that it comes across the world, okay? And whether you lock down or not, it seems to be about a 2-month wave. And now we have had the worst wave ever in China, a nightmare of dysfunction and misery in Shanghai, okay? And it lasted 8 weeks and it's over. Now, again, from the key takeaways, right? The outcomes, we now are much more confident to know that a Shanghai won't repeat again. You see, Beijing is happening now. Shenyang was happening here in Shenyang. We had a 3-week lockdown. Great. What I was saying earlier, my brain finally came back around. You want to criticize China, the media now especially. Oh God, the media is you folks are the enemy of the world. You're the enemy of the world with your misreporting on everything. It's so bad, especially including China. What we know is that 250 other cities in China, like Shenyang, okay, have been very successful. Okay, we've had outbreaks. And we locked down for a week, 2, 3, okay, and it's under control. So for two plus years now, China has successfully kept it under control. And how thankful you should be, because who's been providing the world with all that manufacturing stuff that you all still need? Okay, China. So imagine if China wasn't, much worse the global economy would be. Are you with me? Okay, so plan your businesses accordingly. We now know it. China will continue locking down. The worst case scenario is that an outbreak will be really, really bad. The worst case scenario, and China came out of it in Shanghai in 8 weeks. It's never going to get any worse than what happened in Shanghai. And Shanghai, again, in my opinion, is not ever going to repeat. Okay, that was a nightmare that will not repeat. And previous to Shanghai, it was Hong Kong. Okay, because they're learning, which finally leaves me to the next main critical point about the situation with China for the entire world, for every one of you, for every American chamber official and European chamber and Swiss and German, and for every organization on God's green earth, every think tank, every government ministry, department, office, all of you, all over the world, South America, the rest of Asia, the European continent, East Asia, West Asia, all the Russian country, all the Russian-speaking countries, North America, everywhere, Australia, all of you now know and can clearly understand what China is doing. There are no more questions about it. Okay, China comes out of lockdown and is now moved into the most evolved of its zero COVID policy. And it is brilliant. It is amazing. It is effective. And I dare say it is permanent until further notice. And that is regular testing of every single citizen required. That's where we're at. Okay. Shanghai, Shenyang, my city, been here 4 years, came out of lockdown about 6 weeks ago. When we came out of lockdown, across the street from where we live, okay, I've shown you my garden apartments here. Around me is apartment buildings. There's an apartment building right there, right there, right there, right over there, right over there, all across the street. Here's the mall across the street. All around me is 30-story apartment buildings. Do you understand? Okay. You go out the gate, you walk across the street, and there's now one of these temporary huts, a testing station. Okay. And you got to go there every 48 hours, 48-hour COVID testing. Okay. It's on my app. I'm going to show it to you right here. You don't have a choice. This is what you're going to do. This is what you are going to do here in China. All right. I'm going to show it to you. This is my app. I push on that. That's my QR code. I'm standing in the line with everybody else. Okay. I walk up to the front. One person, a dabai, meaning a person in the white overall coveralls, okay, protective gear. One person scans that QR code. There I am in the system. You accuse China of hiding? This is the most transparent thing. What could be more transparent than this? Okay. It just amazes me the stupid crap people say about China. China is hiding the information. It's just unbelievable to me. Okay. So this gets scanned. Okay. Chinese, foreigner, makes no difference. We're all in the database. 1.4 billion people. Okay. You want to talk about privacy issues? If you have an issue with privacy in today's world, whether you're in Europe or the United States, good luck with that. Okay. Get over it. Okay. You don't have any privacy. If you think you do, you don't. Okay. Check with Edward Snowden if you don't believe me. All right. And Julian Assange. Okay. No matter where you are, okay, you have no privacy. None whatsoever in any country. So just please, can we just skip that part? All right. You're part of a society, you're part of a community, and they know who you are and they know where you are everywhere you go, just because of the fact that you're carrying around a cell phone, let alone whether or not you're using one of these apps or not. It makes no difference. Okay. Get with the program, folks. Okay. So you literally, I'm going to say like 10 seconds. So 10 seconds per person. That's how long it takes to do this. You go up to the window, you just show the code. You've got it out, ready to go. The person scans it, and within 3 seconds, you're in, and you go, thank you, 谢谢你, bye-bye, and you walk away, and you're done. Literally 10 seconds per person. That's China now. They're rolling this out in all the major cities. Okay. Post our 3-week lockdown here in Shenyang, they rolled it out as a 48-hour. Okay. Now, the next piece to talk about is that time frame, okay, which we'll talk about soon between testing. That's the critical thing to understand. But for now, here in China, it's 48 hours. I was told currently in Beijing, it's every day. I was told by one of my very close friends, I have dozens in Shanghai. God bless them all. They're out of the lockdown officially as of today. They're all going out to do exactly what I just showed you. Now everyone's getting registered, and everyone is going, to all the local stations, which have been set up all over the city. In my neighborhood here, there's 3. One is literally right across the street. The other one is across the road. The next one is down across the road. A maximum 5-minute bike ride to the one that's further away. Okay. Maximum 15-minute walk to the one that's further away. Just, you see what I mean? So they're local all over the city. Temporary shacks. Man who was ever in the temporary shack manufacturing business is getting rich. Okay. Unless they've been ordered to provide them at cost because they're an SOE government-owned company. Whatever the heck it is, you get my point, right? Think about the ability to execute all this. to the amount of, Q-tips that are required, the amount of medical gear, the amount of testing kits, the numbers are in the billions. It's absolutely incredible to me how this country can execute. It's amazing. No, I mean, no wonder the West wants to attack China. Otherwise, you can't let everyone see how good China does everything. It's so incredibly embarrassing to the West how efficiently and effectively China does things. They've come up with the ultimate solution, as I'm about to continue explaining here. My friends in Shanghai, and if you just go to China Daily or Global Times, which you should and read every day, because that's where you get objective, boring, factual news. They call it propaganda. No, the propaganda is CNN and Washington Post and the New York Times, not facts. The boring, factual, accurate news is what you get from China Daily and Global Times. However, with Global Times, admittedly, you do also get their nationalistic defend China articles too, which are a lot of fun to read. Okay. But besides that little lovely detail about Global Times, which I appreciate, okay, you get facts and you get information that's clear, okay, about the reality of what's really going on, okay. Like the UN Director Michelle Bachelet, who recently visited Xinjiang and said we weren't there to do an investigation. And now, of course, everyone's saying that she went there and she didn't find anything because China didn't let them see it. Of course, I mean, I already knew it was a waste of time for her to go, because no matter what she said, any critic who's a liar, you're all liars, okay? There's nothing going on in Xinjiang. Not nothing, but not what you're saying. There's no genocide in Xinjiang. It's ridiculous. Or forced labor. No matter what, they would just say, oh, well, the reason she didn't see anything is because China wouldn't let her go see it. She said, no, there's no investigation. Well, there was no investigation, folks, because there's nothing to investigate. Okay, all the evidence is out and it's already been debunked. There's no genocide in Xinjiang. And UN head Michelle Bachelet knew that before she went to Xinjiang. Okay, so detractors and liars, no matter what, are going to continue to detract and distract and manipulate and lie and deceive you. Okay, that's just the nature of what Western media is these days. And Western governments as well, with their anti-China campaign. Okay, that's really been quite ramped up, particularly with Trump. It was happening before Trump, but then it got a lot worse. I don't want to go too far off here. You have to understand that all of this is an exact opposite to the reality of China, which is how amazingly successful and effective they are. And here we are at this third point of the evolved that I want you to understand, and that the rest of the world needs to realize how much this affects your business, your life, your company's decisions, your company's strategies, your choices to invest or not invest here and there, the supply chain across the world, okay, goods being moved from place to place, which obviously begins in so many cases with China, because China is what? The manufacturing engine, the growth and economic engine of the entire world. Do you? Okay. The testing in Shanghai, I'm surprised, has rolled out at 72 hours, not 48. I'm here in Shenyang. There's no cases. By the way, thank you, Shenyang government, and thank you to all the school systems and everybody. The kids, after 10 weeks, went back to school yesterday. Okay. I had a wonderful experience with my boy. Actually, the silver lining was the blessing of the father-son relationship I had with him, taking care of him every day for the last 10 weeks at home, Monday through Friday, while he was doing his online classes. He did great. I did great. And we had this wonderful bonding as father and son. I had all that time with him to love him and take care of him and be with him and hang out with him and get to communicate when the kids are in school all day. So that is an amazing, unexpected silver lining. And I love telling you this. I've told everyone. They're like, the kids home at school is terrible. And I'm like, no, it's terrible, but it's not terrible. It was wonderful. I had this amazing experience with my son. He knows how much his dad loves him and takes care of him every day. Think about that. What a blessing. And At the same time, I'm so glad he's back in school and happy to get rid of him, right? Come on, of course I am. He's supposed to be in school, you know. Um, so we here in Shenyang, the kids are back in school as of yesterday, literally. Again, that's great. Have had 48-hour COVID testing. I'm amazed that Shanghai, coming out of lockdown, is not also starting with 48-hour COVID testing. I guess it's because there's 28 million people there rather than 9 million, and they're just logistically figuring out how quickly they could roll out the most efficient thing possible. So in Shanghai, it's 72 hours, which is much better. I will tell you 100%. Every 48-hour COVID testing is a royal pain in the butt. It's too frequent. It's so frequent that actually you just need to go every day because there's a 10-hour delay when you get tested. If you get tested at 3 in the afternoon, it doesn't show up in your app because they need time to process the test, right? And then upload it in the app. It doesn't show up till around 11 o'clock that night. But it may not show up till just after midnight, in which case it's the next day. So then your 48-hour green thing, you're not at 48 hours anymore. And now you're like, oh, so until you have to wait several hours. So people end up going every day just because it's easier. Every no good, no good. This is not efficient. That aspect of it is really inconvenient. So 40 hours is, and I've been saying all along, however, it hit me like a brick. I'm sharing with you that this is a miracle that they came up with this policy. Folks, China's zero COVID policy has evolved to this new constant testing policy that keeps more people the and now with Shanghai, they're doing 72 hours. See what I hope you understand what I'm about to say next. This is China is zero, zero, all zero policy, which is they're going to get to all the major places in major cities where it's necessary. They will roll out one COVID. They keep the week go last week. Once here, there's a lot of people. Once they go hours to 2 hours, they go week the best. And once we have to bring pandemic control strategy on God's green earth. I mean, this is miraculous. I can't stress you enough. This is miraculous. So deep and inspire confidence people say forever, no matter what. It's the virus. And if you're in another country, accordingly, because what I'm describing to you, this isn't a chit chat of what might happen. Clarity is not there. We have arrived. We have arrived. Okay. We know that worst case scenario is control the worst case scenario. Even knowing that, in advance, they are in this again, because everybody doesn't understand what it is. Simple plan. See what I mean? That's how it works. Okay. as he says, matters most is moving that thing 48 hours to doing. I believe that's their plan. That's what they want to do as soon as they feel comfortable to do that. Now, there's other measures, delivery drivers and things like that. I spoke what city he's in. I want to reference to you some other cities. Give me a second. This is recording. Okay, good. That was recorded. Okay. And also you might get on there. They're very good. And the war on China now it's over at Chongqing. We all know and understand that all this began actually a week earlier in Shenzhen. And down south of Hong Kong, this way, people began to lock on this regular every 48 hour. If you don't have a 48 hour code in your phone, okay, then you've got to go back to get to the grocery. Your green code is green. It's not green. You have to go to the test. It's not green. Can't come in. I want to buy groceries. No, you can't come in. I want to go in the mall. You can't come in. I want to get on the subway. You can't get on the subway. So it's forced mandated testing. So you say, wait, it was crazy. But everyone is brilliant. It's amazing. It's so efficient that they love this infrastructure. And you know, this VPN is just absolutely okay. But it's fair. It can't continue. It's can't 48 hours. Well, David told me that they moved already to once a week where he lives. Okay. So this morning we have clarity. Clarity is permanent. We actually permanent zero strategy now. You can expect across every major amazing, amazing other than this country, and there's no virus. As close to be as no virus as possible. Every 7 we why? Letting it fly. It's no everybody's okay. You're all listening. Carefully. We can't even severity 5 to 10 times annual flu. Okay, even now, with the most recent less severe version of coronavirus, that's why in America, 58 catch the flu is pre-existing patients and pre-existing patients for elderly, also young people, moms and dads in the 50s, and some of the age more people. Okay. I wrote about that. But morally, you know, whatever you have if you just the flu virus, it right the panels back. The rate of severity and by the time work flu. Told you why. In the we're letting it go. We're back to normal. We're not okay. You are from oh my instead of that from so you as society are it's because it's the population. The only 1% of the population. It's 300 million people because China's lost 1.4 billion people. And they only have 6 beds per 100,000. See? And no, so not gonna allow this many populations. Okay. You know, 50,000 flu, it has somewhere between 500,000 severe hospitalizations. People not be really maybe didn't know it, and then 20% of them, 10% of them died. That's most didn't like this 99 would severe ICU or at least in ICU. Okay. Multiply on severe hospitalizations. As medical workers who are in the United States, they're overwhelmed, they're freaking exhausted. Okay. Because there's so many people in hospitals and complications, increasing conditions aggravated by COVID. Okay. China is not accepting that. I can't say any simple. This health policy cannot, we will accept what you're suggesting, which is for a population of people. Okay. If you let COVID go and let Omicron go, wait, you're letting it go in places like the UK and the United States, wherever, Canada, wherever. No. 100 million in the house. Of which 10% would get yeah, 1 million, 1 million, and 1 million deaths of younger families. Okay, even kids, there's even some child deaths. guys in the 40s and 50s. This is not politics. I'm telling you, it's not politics. We are the ability to execute everyone, every choice, every we right about permanent. Phrase over whatever country you are, whatever country you are, whatever CEO, whatever company you are, business across the world and doing business with China, whatever industry you're in, you now have to your policy is public policy. We all we're all do it. We're all with all the thoughts in it. Explain it because now just books to everyone wants healthy, smart, the videos, share use anything. It's like this video, check out the Thank you. Thank you for supporting. Appreciate it very much. Have a great day. You